Well, as many of us try to kind of transfer over to more of a native landscape here and try to save water here in California, a lot of us are turning to professional contractors to help us with that. Now, there are some potential pitfalls of going that route, and so we asked Sandra Grow from the California Landscape Contractors Association to join us here this morning to talk about that a little bit. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Are you seeing a lot of that? Are you seeing people saying, you know what, I can't afford to water anymore. Let me get a landscape contractor in here and help me out and get all this tropical stuff out and get some native stuff in?
We're noticing a little bit of that. We're noticing a lot of people wanting to change their irrigation, maybe keep the landscapes that they have right now, but change the irrigation. And so it could be twofold.
So is that possible to keep what you have and still save water?
If you change to the right kind of irrigation and maybe the right kind of controller to where you're watering only when you need the water and only the right amount of water, it is possible to keep a lot of the stuff that you have right now.
Okay, but now I mentioned fraud at the top there, and again, that always makes people uncomfortable because you're a professional association, and we assume that people that are in your association are upstanding and honest and they'll take care of us, but there are unscrupulous folks out there that, you know, they aren't what they pretend to be sometimes. What kind of things are you seeing?
Well, for the unscrupulous people, you're going to see people that are going into people's homes. They're selling them really great ideas and getting them excited, and then they get maybe a contract signed, maybe just try to do a handshake agreement, and then get some money, and then not really perform the work the way that they said that they would. They're not operating at the top of their game. They're doing just a good enough job if they complete the job at all.
See, now what I found in building my house, and I hired a landscape contractor to help me out, you know, finishing things off in the yard, I found that you really have to be specific. You have to do your homework. You can't be an uneducated consumer when it comes to hiring somebody. You can't just hire somebody and say, here, you just take care of it.
Right.
That's just really dangerous.
It's, you know, that's the same as in any industry. You wouldn't go and give your money away to a financial advisor without doing your homework. So for a landscape contractor, you still want to do your homework. You want to have a really good idea about what you want, and you need to make sure that the contractor is building your dream yard instead of their dream yard. And so the CLCA has a pamphlet out that's 4 ways to a professional landscape, and it asks you to ask yourself a lot of those hard questions about things that you want to have in your yard and things that you don't, and how to get those things brought about.
Now this pamphlet, we're going to put a link at our website at sandiego6.com. Folks can just go there, click on Hot Topics, and we'll get you a copy of this pamphlet if you'd like to check that out. Now, so get everything in writing. Have a really clear idea of what you want. When you say native landscaping, do your homework. Know what kind of plants you want and how much water they need, and if they need a drip system and so forth. What would really be nice if during this segment, if the trash truck could go through? Wouldn't that make it more entertaining?
Yeah,
really?
Absolutely.
Provided it doesn't like drive right through the set here, that'll be fine. But one of the keys to avoiding problems is not to pay a bunch of money up front. And this goes for home repairs, landscaping, all kinds of services. So this is kind of a general rule. Don't pay a bunch up front. What should you pay up front? If they say, hey, I need money to go buy supplies.
Well, anytime you sign a contract, you're more than likely for a landscape contract, you're going to be signing it at home. So the very first thing that you need to know is that because you're signing it at home, when you get involved in this kind of contract, you have a 72-hour option to get out of the contract. In case you feel like you've been pressured, there's a notice to the owner that the CSLB requires us to give to homeowners that gives you an option to get out of your contract. When you've given your deposit to your contractor, you are not allowed to accept anything more than $1,000 or 10% of the job, whichever is less. So if you're doing
So if somebody asks for $2,000–3,000 up front, they're not even allowed to do that.
No, they're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And that's according to the CSLB, which governs through the state of California. That's the governing agency over us. And so as soon as they start asking for more money than that, you're at a red flag. You need to get out. And if they want to get ahead in any of their progress payments so that they can pay a subcontractor, it's not a good match.
And how about paying as you go? if they do, you know, half of the job and paying half of the money.
Absolutely.
That's okay?
And progress payment is really what you want to do. You want to pay as the job is progressing. So it may feel sometimes like you're getting a little bit ahead of the game because you've paid for your plants because they're being delivered but they're not installed yet. Well, we still have to pay for those plants to the nursery. So it may feel a little bit like you're getting ahead, but if you're paying for 100% of the planting and you don't have anything out at your job site, you should start to get worried.
And if you end up in a problem situation, can they call your organization?
Absolutely. We would love to hear about that because we would like to be able to instruct other contractors on how to get back onto the straight and narrow and also inform the consumer. We really want the consumer to be informed about us as a professional organization and know that there are good guys out there.
Sandra, thank you so much for coming in today.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, you know, the fall is a good time when it starts to cool down to start rethinking your whole landscape plan. So thanks for coming in.
Oh, sure.
Okay, again, if you need information there, you go to sandiego6.com, click on Hot Topics, and we will link things up for you right there.